Okay. Hey guys. So I'm sitting here with Frankie, with Frank Nito. He's with infocasualties.com. You know, we were talking about him a little bit last week, and I just thought you'd want to hear a little bit more from him.
Yeah, meet the terrorist, the bad
Yeah.
guy over here, the
So,
vandal.
in case you don't remember, we first saw Frankie when he had been pulled over or stopped for the putting Ron Paul stickers on public places, and they're defining public places and trying to restrict his freedom of speech. Anyways, we're not going to talk an awful lot about that today. We're going to talk a little bit more about stuff that's important around town. Not that free speech is unimportant, but we're going to get into the details of that case as time goes on. You know, and we'll see how it goes because administratum they catch the documents and they get lost.
Right, yeah.
So
Paperwork doesn't always get to where it's supposed to be. That how that postal service works.
so okay, I guess we'll touch base on that. So have you talked to the police department at all about
Well,
what's going on?
I haven't talked to anybody I haven't talked to the arresting officer or any of the other officers that were on the scene. But I have gone and done the formal request of requesting the video and the audio and all that good stuff. And so I'm waiting to get that, and they said it might take a couple of days, which I understand. I'm pretty sure I'm low on the totem pole about this whole thing. So yeah, but that's really like you were saying. I mean that's very minuscule in the whole point of this.
Right.
Because
So one of the things that fascinated me is as we were talking about that, I realized how deep you've gone into looking at what's going on with the new building of the prison and the actual costs that are being thrown around and the reasons that they're saying they want to build this.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And because I got told,
it's not a prison.
It's
right.
It's
a jail.
It's a jail. Is how the chief of police and other people want to pass it. But if you talk to anyone who's done actual TDC time, has ever been to prison, they will tell you in these bigger county jails like Huntsville, which Bonner also built, by the way.
The Huntsville jail.
Yeah. Well, no, not Huntsville. What is it? The Harrison County, which dictates Houston, right?
Okay, so Bonner is going to be the builder.
The Construction Management Corporation is what they are. It's a Sacramento-based corporation. We're just dealing with the Austin version of it, their branch, the Austin branch.
Okay.
But so anyways, they keep on correcting me and telling me that it's a jail, and I tell them, well, if like I said, if you talk to anybody who's actually been in prison and done it, you see in these bigger jails, you see more of the those horror stories we always see in the movies and stuff about how you're getting raped, things are getting stolen from you, people getting beat. You see that more in the crowded county jails than you do in these high security prisons, because the people that are actually in TDC already in prison.
What's TDC?
TDC is a Texas Department of Corrections.
Okay.
That's the whole organization that everyone has to submit to. And they set the rules and regulate the standards and all that stuff. Okay. It's actually
TDC.
I
don't know any of these acronyms.
Right. It's actually TDCJ.
TDC.
And the J is justice.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I put air quotes on these words because it's one of those things that the establishment defines these things and not.
So let's clear this up a little bit. So I guess the big issue here may be the fact that they just say that we need to build a jail in Fredericksburg. And they say that the tax dollars need to stay here at home and we need to spend a lot of money here and build a jail facility so the police department and the sheriffs don't have to spend a lot of time shuttling prisoners out of town, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, the establishment argument is and quoted Buddy Mills out of the KXAN website. They did a report about this after because Fredericksburg actually was at the verge of our county jail was at the verge of being shut down because it didn't pass certain building codes and also of the overcrowded issue. Okay. So they almost got shut down. Well, Buddy Mills talks about how he's quoted in saying it's roughly about $20 to $30 a day to house these inmates. And they talk about that you have this that's not figuring the gas and then paying the cop to transport him. Well, last time I checked, when that's a division of the sheriff's department is transportation because you transfer inmates all the time. You transfer them from the jail to the courthouse.
Okay.
This happens all the time. This is already figured budget. You can't just use it to your advantage.
Right.
But yeah, they tell us,
Well,
that.
so they're saying that if we built a jail and borrowed a bunch of money, built our own jail, that we'd be able to do it for cheaper than the $10 to $50. Is that what they're saying? It's
20.
cheaper?
It's 20 to $50.
Yeah, I remember listening to the candidates forum and where they were talking about the fact that it's going to go up. The cost if we borrow money, it's going to go up.
Right.
And that they've been doing a benefits analysis survey to try to figure out what we will get for the raising the cost from 10 to 50 to who knows what. It could be what, 30 to 120.
Right, yeah.
We don't really know if it's going up. So we do the 10 to 50, it's going to be higher than 50 no matter what. So we take mills saying 10 to 50, and then we take the candidates forum where a variety of the candidates and seated people
right.
say that it's going to go up. So that means it's going to be 50
plus.
50 plus.
Right.
And so this money is going to come back into our community, but we do need a jail, right?
Right, we do need this jail.
Well,
because
yeah,
we do
we're
need
being
this jail
funny here.
because we have such crime rate here in Fredericksburg. We're constantly cars are being broken into. We're being people are being robbed all the time.
I'll say that does happen, right?
We're
not saying that, right?
Doesn't.
But let's just keep on track.
Okay,
the track is we're going to build a new jail. We're going to get a bond. We're going to build a new jail, and we will be known for having a nice jail.
Right.
And we will sign a contract with who's going to be managing it?
Bonner Construction Management.
So it's Bonner Construction. They will be managing the head count in there. Let's say the people that are working in there too. Are they an end-to-end type provider?
Well, see, in their mission statement when they talk about on their website, and like I said, you need to look this up. And on the website, it talks about in there. It says that they see you, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the great pronunciation skills, but
sure.
Basically, it says from boardroom to job site to occupancy. Those three words kind of make me nervous because it's like, well, that sounds like you're gonna tell me what it looks like.
So after let's just say, so they're going from concept to occupancy, and after we get to occupancy, where do we go from there? Who's going to be the chief jailer? Is this going to be jobbed out to another firm, and we're going to say, well, you're going to manage all the head counts, or is the city going to take that within itself, and then we're going to manage it?
Right.
Have you gone down that route?
Well, I've been trying to, and all that stuff is unclear. I'm getting from because originally I had went and talked to the the county clerk? Oh no, the county accountant. I forget his name at the moment. I'll get that to you at some point. But and he says that what was it for? He's one of those people that he just keeps on saying that it's going to be all in the decisions of the people of Fredericksburg. It's all going to be in our hands.
Oh, of course it is. We're going to make sure of that.
Right.
But the question ends up being, those workers, they're going to have, like, let's just guess with a number right now, 20 people working there. How many people work at the current jail? How many jobs are going to transition over there?
Right.
At the current jail, are there going to be employees of the city, right? Because they currently are. They're with the police department or in whatever capacity, or the sheriff's department. So those head counts are going to move over there. Are they going to be within our, jurisdiction? Who's going to manage the prisoner? How many head count are they going to add? Right. So this will be included in the cost benefit analysis that the county. What do they call the group meeting for the county? I haven't covered or gone to one of those.
Well,
county board.
Well, it's called they're calling it the county jail commission.
Okay, so there's a separate group
county jail
called
commission.
The county jail commission.
Or committee. The last word is committee.
They're looking into creating a jail, the county jail.
Right, and they're the ones that are supposed to be responsible for the whole, how much is this going to cost us? What are the benefits of it? What's the downside of it? Things of that nature. And kind of thing makes me nervous because the only people I see that are on that committee, that the only people that we have like the paper talking about and on the news are police officers. If you ask me, that's a little biased. Of course, these guys are saying yes, let's build a big bad jail.
they're the
You
ones
know,
that are going to benefit from this, right?
you know,
So, I don't care how you want to look at it. And if you're saying that there's a cost recovery to be made from this, I'd like to see where, because it looks like to me, if we're going to raise our taxes to make it so that the police and sheriff don't have to fix or deal with a process that they seem to be doing, suboptimally, if I would refer to it that way, because so we're going to do 40, let's say $10 to $50 a person per night or per day, and then all of a sudden it's going to go up 50 to 100, so you can just like catch somebody, bring them over here, and then you're done with them, right? So why don't you just catch somebody, bring them over to your current jail, wait for a few of them to come, and then move them out, right? You have a process problem, right? We deal with process problems all the time. And I know you know how to deal with that, right? So you're sitting here telling us we need a jail and we need to insource this whole Fredericksburg jail idea, right? And so we're in the tourist business, guys, right? We're dealing with tourists, and now you're wanting to build a big jail.
Oh, let me. If you, I don't know, you were going so well on that. I just wanted to add on to that. Oh, we're a tourist town. Okay, well, I've been talking to a couple of tourists that have had run-ins with Fredericksburg PD, and they said, you know what, this is a messed up town, man. It's becoming come here for vacation, you end up staying on probation. Is that what we want in Fredericksburg? Is that what we want them to be known as? Because that's what Kerrville's known as already. Is that the police are revenue generators and they will pull you over for anything and write you a ticket. You know, is that what we want next here in Fredericksburg? Is this whole idea that, because remember, another thing that's scaring me about this whole jail thing, the number keeps on changing. The number originally started in the low 90s. To this date, it is at 96. Austin wants it to be, and we've been arguing about a jail since in the early 90s. We were arguing about a jail. In 1992, the city of Fredericksburg said, no, we're not going to build this jail because it was going to cost us $2.4 million in 1992. And the city of Fredericksburg said, no, that y'all are freaking crazy. We're not going to spend that much money on inmates.
Right, to raise our taxes, we're going to spend a bunch of money.
And so, so now Buddy Mills even says, hey, well, it's been and the police have already pretty much claimed victory because you have Buddy Mills saying, it's been a long, hard battle, da da da, and it's like a battle, why is the police having so much opposition against the people of Fredericksburg then, that you're calling this new project that's supposed to be keeping us safer a battle? These are not my words. These are the words that, the administration are using,
Well, I don't believe it's all that clear. And from what I heard over at the candidates forum, there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered, and we're far from closed on this issue, right? Far from closed, because they need to explain why it's going to be good for us to raise our taxes and build something, or build a big jail. He's Sasko, right? He's running for county commissioner, and there's an election going on right now. I got a video up there on my site on FBG Live, and it's of Heath Sasko over at our Fredericksburg Speaks candidates. Well, it wasn't a candidates thing. It was just a free speech forum for anybody to speak. But he also talked at the candidates forum that the Chamber of Commerce put out, and he said the same thing. He said the important thing was investing in our kids and in the next generation. His running mate, the incumbent constable, said the most important thing was the jail. Well, see, so we've got two different people. One's playing catch and one's playing stop it, right? So Heath Sasko, he understands that we need to start dealing with our kids, with our grandkids, and start talking to people like people. And this will quash the jail building. So that would be wonderful if we could sit there and start focusing in on the personal relationships with our younger generation, like Heath was suggesting, right? And he understands that a lot of you are trying to do that. And it's really hard when you have to work and drop your kids off at a daycare center, or work and drop them off at school, and then make meetings with teachers. And there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on there, and I understand. But we need to start dealing with that issue. So if we don't build a jail, we could actually start building relationships with our young people, the youth, start bridging that gap that seems to be coming on, and work towards a future where we don't put people in jail all the time. And then we can let it go, and then we're not stuck with this noose around our neck, a service level agreement on the jail that we have to fill. Now we have a vested interest in what? Filling the jail? I don't want to arrest you guys. I don't want to put you in jail. That's just crazy. But maybe I've seen things wrong.
It's awesome that you brought up the youth, because check this out. They perfected this prospected site for the new prison. I don't care what they say. Anything that holds more than 15 people is a prison. All right.
Hey, if you define it that way, I'm good with it.
Right. Okay.
So, whatever you guys want to do, that's fine.
Right.
But we're gonna call it
A
prison.
If that's cool with you.
Okay.
I might call it
Short-term prison, we'll do whatever. Long-term, it all sucks.
Right. Yeah. It's all control and enslavement.
Right.
But anyways, this prospected
the
site.
Violence is not good. Sorry.
This prospected site is behind the current LEC building, which is on the industrial loop. You know, where that RV park is.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's right there. Okay, well, right there. There's an RV park that when these people that live there are gonna look, and people that come and visit Fredericksburg, they get to look out their RV, and what do they get to see? Our brand new shiny jail. Okay, and then
it's usually like 3 layers of razor wire, barbed
right.
wire.
Well, because it's gonna have, from my understanding, it's gonna have a courtyard, so that they can have a rec area, which is is right, because we don't treat our prisoners like dogs.
Again, remember, we're a tourist trap. We don't want to be showing bad stuff. That's why we regulate signs and everything.
Right, and then so adjacent though, on the opposite side of this prospected site, is a place called New Horizon Center, and I don't know if you know about these guys. New Horizon Center from my understanding, is a nonprofit organization. They run off of donations, right? Well, these people get their goal though is to help mentally handicapped youth and adults learn skills, motor skills, so that they can function and they can go get a job and they can actually lead a quote unquote normal life. Because remember, working every day is normal. And so it's like, well, do you really want where these vulnerable children? Because I mean, on average, today's youth has a education level of a fifth grader, you know. But we're talking about mentally handicapped kids who, the state and the doctor said that these people are slow. They may be physically 23 years old, right? But their mind is still stuck at 8, right? If you're telling me that we have these criminals, and we're gonna start housing criminals, because I'll have the video for it, but I have the video. I don't have it posted yet, but I'm gonna have the video by the end of the day posted of the county accountant and the a couple of dispatchers talking about the fact that, well, with these other beds, because originally when I started this whole project, it was only a 94-man jail, but like I said, now it's a 96-man prison, and Austin wants 97. The Austin Jail Committee in Austin, who presides over all jails,
they want to up our prison to
97.
One more bed.
Right, one more bed. And then, speaking of expansion though, because in that same interview where I talked about Buddy Mills saying that this has been a long, hard battle, and that it only cost us $20 to $30. Later on in the article too, he says, or actually no, in this latest article in the Fredericksburg paper, it's no, I was right. It was, but it's the same interview. With so much stuff, I get lost in there. I'm sorry. But anyways, they have once they get it, okay, they're gonna stop at 90 something, right? Is what they're telling them. It's like 96, 97, whatever. But it's going to have the capability to hold 144 people. So I'm only telling you I have space for 94 people, but I'll be able to house 144 if I want.
Because they go over the number.
Right.
So it's 96 and below, and 97 and above.
Above, exactly.
And so they say that we have to go for more. And right now, okay, so how many people do they have in jail right now? What are the numbers?
The current number right now, and
And where did you get these sources?
The current number I'm about to tell you is it's out of the Fredericksburg Standard Post, last week's paper, and also the number coincides with from while I was arrested for the whole sticker thing. I talked to jailers while I was in there about this, and so it's gonna be their personal comments and stuff like that. The currently right now, according to the people, we average about, when I say the people, I mean the administration. We average anywhere between 20 to 60 people a month. 20 to 60 people a month.
A day, a month?
A month is what we average. 20 to 60 people a month is what we average in incarcerations that
How
are
many people a day?
See, I haven't got that number.
So, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Right. But these are people that are still standing trial or have already pleaded guilty.
Right. So they have like 2 people a day for a whole month is 60.
Right. Yeah, because it added to the currently existing.
Seems like crazy, huh?
Yeah. So, and then however, they didn't want to tell me the people, the lady that I was working with, the dispatcher at the.
Do you think we can go down there and ask them how many people they have in incarceration?
Yeah, they'll tell you.
Today?
Yeah.
And so if we go there multiple times and ask them how many do you have today? Right. How many do you have tomorrow? And continue that for a little bit.
And that number changes. That number changes constantly because, let's say, because really Fredericksburg doesn't house anybody in that county jail that's downtown. Mm-hmm. They don't really house anybody but what they call trustees. They house these trustees, and that's really it. The other time is spent on people that they arrest throughout that day. That they pick up on warrants or whatever they have you.
Okay.
Okay, and then by the end of the day, depending on whether or not that person's going to be able to be bailed out on that warrant or whatever, they'll end up, because this happened to me several times. I've been arrested for a lot of other things. That's all public record. So you can go look it up.
Okay.
But by the end of the day, if they decide, well, you're not going to be able to make bail and your warrant is you can't get out, well, you know what? There's a possibility, especially if you get arrested like on a Thursday or Friday on a weekend. Okay, they'll say, okay, well, because of the possibility that we're going to arrest all these people today, we're going to transfer you out of county, and we'll send you to Kerrville, or we'll send you to Comanche, or whatever. It has happened to me.
Right, so like on a full moon, if they're expecting a whole bunch of people to show up.
Right, and all that exactly, and all that's in the jail right now is this one person, besides the little area where they have.
But they may have a rush.
Right, and they may have this
because they're having a drinking event, or maybe maybe they're having a war festival. A lot of people get drunk at war festivals.
Right. And so, so the possibility of more crime. And that's where they figure in that's where you call about that mismanagement again, man.
I want to bring you back.
Whoa,
so how many people were in jail when you were in there? How many people did you know that were also there with your Ron Paul sticker event?
Okay, that night when I was arrested for the Ron Paul sticker, there was, besides the 5 trustee inmates that they had in there, which are always in there because there's a reason why they're trustees. They're the guys they take out to do, community service and other things like that. They're the ones who make the food and all that stuff. Okay. So they're always there. That number is a constant. Okay. So anyways, and that night though, but the actual people that were being detained was 4.
5 trustees and 4 people.
And 4 people that got arrested that day.
And the trustees are always there because they're getting ready to get out.
Exactly.
They're doing good time.
They're doing their
working.
They're doing their servitude.
They walk around and they empty trash cans.
They empty trash cans. They mop. They sweep.
So they're free labor.
Right. Well, no, it's not free. They're paying back their debt to society. Remember when you said you were guilty. When you said you were guilty and you signed up for jail time.
You said you'd pay them.
You said you would pay them, and well, since you don't get an actual monetary payment.
Man, I don't understand.
Oh, I know. I've discovered I've had to educate a lot of people on how the whole judicial system really works, because I've discovered that not everybody's gotten so much trouble as I have. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But so anyway, so that night that was the number. But like I said, they said we average anywhere between. 20,
so we got 9. Well, no, we've really got 4.
4, exactly, right? Because those 5 should be
they're
already
walking
figured.
around. So
exactly.
So, so tell me more about those five, those trustees. Do they live in cells and just they open the door and ask them to walk around, or they just sit with open doors?
Well,
how does that work?
It all depends. It all depends.
Really?
See, this is how it's interesting. It all depends. If it's normal operating business hours and you don't have anybody high ranking official, you don't have any state inspectors or anything coming over, it's an open door policy. The trustees walk around to do their little jobs, whether it's washing the police's dishes from their lunch or it's making the police lunch, because in all honesty, they make a lot of the officers that stay there lunch because they don't get to leave. A lot of them don't get to leave. And a lot of the people that end up being trustees get cooking jobs because well, they found out that they used to work for a restaurant on Main Street, you know what I mean, or whatever. So they know how to cook.
Oh,
exactly.
I'd love to have one of these cooks. They got some good cooks here in Fredericksburg, guys. If you want to come out, we won't do this prison jail thing.
Right.
So don't worry about that.
Right. Yeah.
Tourists.
And so that's what and they pretty much go around and just do whatever. And it all honestly, it all kind of it goes back to the description of the head jailer at the moment. Because I've been in there in times where the trustees were all just hanging out watching cable television. I think it was during the NBA playoffs a couple years ago. They were all watching cable television, just sitting around not doing anything.
Right.
So obviously we don't have these great dangerous inmates. You know what I mean?
Right.
If we're just letting them just walk around and just be chill.
So okay, so how many people do you think were incarcerated out of town at the moment you were in jail? Were there any out of town doing long-term stints with Kerrville and so forth? Because it's safe to say, so you had 4 people in there, and that would include you, right? So there were 3 others. Right. So there were 3 others there, and there was somebody that probably got a PI or something, and he was in Kerrville doing his month or whatever. 2 months, 2 years. I'm not sure what they do for that. But there's probably safe to say that they've got somebody incarcerated in one of these remote jails for long term.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, because
you get a standard practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, because they say, well, it goes back to that whole thing of the possibility that we might get this influx of crime to fill our 15-man jail, because that's what we currently have is a 15-man prison. That's not counting the inmates, like the trustee section. Okay. These are available beds that are not being used. Okay, so we still have a max capacity really of what is it? So it really make it with like 20. And it still has separate areas to put in people that are drunk, because you put them in their own little put drunks in their own little tank so that they don't do anything stupid. The drunks tend to say stupid things. But anyways, so you get your sentence from the judge, right? And then he says, you know what, you're gonna get 160 days. You won't do that 160 days here in Fredericksburg. You won't. They will hold you here for about 2 or 3 days, and they'll try to schedule it where they can move a group of people at once. But if there's just no reason that they can't move more than one person, they'll move you by yourself. They'll go ahead and get someone out of the transit department of the DPS and say, hey, all right, take, this deputy sheriff is going to take you to Kerrville. He's going to take you to Comanche or whatever. That's why we bought those big old.
So we might be able to help them out a little bit by telling them they need to look at that process,
right? And
instead of dealing with.
Let's consolidate here,
Right. Let's. Because it's be better at that. Let's see. I think we're at the point where we should.
Take a little pause.
Size limit reached. This one's done.
Yeah. Well,
so let's close it out.
All right. I mean.
Yeah, we've kind of covered a lot.
I've been everywhere. I know it's horrible, and it's not very organized. Well, I'm very unorganized. You know what I mean? So.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit record one more time. We'll have 2 things. I think your SD card is running out of space.
Yeah, more than likely.
Okay, it is. So I can't do this one anymore. But that's
we still
okay.
Have the 2.
We have the 2, but I like that.
And like this angle.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll edit at this point.
I mean, in closing though, what I really want to touch on, what really scares me is that we have this idea that big jail and a bigger jail is going to somehow make us safer. You people and I say you people, and I mean the misinformed. That's why my website's called Info Casualties, because that's what happens when you're getting disinformation or you're not given information. Bad things happen. Okay. What I want y'all to think about is, all right, that's great. It's a source of revenue. We're gonna get in the business of enslavement and holding people in jail. All right, we're gonna get into this business. All right, that's fine. Whatever. That means though we're gonna take Bernie's rapists, Kerrville's pedophiles, uh, San Antonio's rapists, pedophiles, murderers, all these people, these hardcore criminals. Because right now I'm pretty sure we got little punk criminals, really do. I'm not saying that there isn't guys out there, robbing people and shit like that. I'm not saying that. There is that stuff going on.
So that's the subcontracting angle, where
Right,
we can
where
sit there and build the
because
prison,
well,
and
we
then
have these empty beds. We have to
right,
fill them.
we might as well.
Well, because it's gonna
Cheaper for us.
right. Well, it's gonna start coming. It's not that it's cheaper for us.
But look at on the bright side, the families of those people that they incarcerate will move to Fredericksburg.
Right, exactly, and then bring her meth habits over here. Let's say we arrest someone or we house somebody from Kerrville, and they got arrested because they were making a meth lab in Kerrville, right?
Okay.
Okay. Well, guess what? We're gonna hold him for. We'll hold him from Kerrville because Kerrville's at 80%. On that number. It's not an actual number. I want to make sure that this is a hypothetical situation I'm talking
right,
about. Okay.
Totally.
I don't want anybody to be all look, they're giving you disinformation. You know what I
right.
mean? So that's why I want to make sure it's on record that it's a hypothetical situation. Anyways, so we house that meth creator, right? We go in and house him. Well, guess what? His girlfriend or girlfriends, well, now she's taken over the operation because now she has to make money to pay for the lawyer, the court costs, and the gas and all that. So what do you think she's gonna do when she comes over here and visits on the weekend? Well, she's gonna hit up the local bars and go into our members of the community and be like, "Hey, I got this right here," you know. And we already have questionable members in Fredericksburg that are doing this stuff. A couple years ago, a truck with 10,000 pounds of heroin got busted coming through Fredericksburg. So yeah, dude.
Straight from Afghanistan, right?
I didn't get to see the stamps, but I'm pretty sure it had CIA on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I guess the whole dig is you guys don't want to be known for your jail.
Right.
You don't want to be known for more than tourism. I know that.
Right.
You know that. So why are we talking about this jail? Why are we talking about raising taxes? For what? For what return? So we can have these issues? Frankie's talked quite clearly about this, and we're not done with this subject by any means.
No. Nope, not at all.
So hang in there, guys. There's a lot of people like Frankie out there that love you. And remember, his site is Info Casualties. So, Frankie, you got anything to say in closing?
No, I mean just for real securities, restore it back. You want personal security, restore it back into the people's hands, back to where you and I know these criminals. We're not seeing these criminals aren't amongst us because we're sending them out of county. And Moses taught a lot in Leviticus. He talked about laying down the laws, and if someone is unclean by those standards of the Ten Commandments, which would America, but based a lot of its judicial system on, you removed them from the camp. They weren't allowed to live in the cities. They had to live on the outskirts. So I say, you know what? Here's my money right here. Well, somewhere's in these pockets. There's money. I
you
promise
have money?
you. Yeah, I do.
Man,
oh, look, see, here's my money right here. Here's my money. Send those criminals away. I don't want them in my town. I don't want them here. And that's what we should all want. We should want nothing but good, hardworking citizens in Fredericksburg. Let's not get in the business of enslaving people, man.
Yeah, I totally go with you on this outsource the prison thing. Let's put a little bit of a method in place so we can ease the police department, the sheriff's department's burden on that. Maybe that'll help them out a little bit more and save us some money.
Yeah.
A lot more money, because we're going to need some money. So that's another second close. I'm Steve O'Brien, and you've been listening to FBG Live. I've had Frankie from Info Casualties on. We'll be back. Remember, guys, we love you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.